"You're in the wrong room, kid." Those were the judge's exact words as a teenage boy pushed open the towering doors of the courtroom. His sneakers squeaked softly on the polished marble floor, and all eyes turned toward him. He looked completely out of place, no suit, no tie, just a plain t-shirt, jeans, and a backpack slung over one shoulder. A hushed ripple of murmurs spread through the room. Spectators leaned in closer. A couple of attorneys exchanged glances. Even the court clerk raised an eyebrow. Who is he? Where are his parents? Is he lost? But the boy didn't waver. His face was calm, eyes steady, as he stepped confidently toward the defendant's table and took his seat, all alone. From the judge's bench, the Honorable Judge Whitaker, known for his sharp tongue and zero patience, narrowed his eyes. With over 30 years of courtroom experience, he'd seen it all, or so he thought. He leaned forward, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Where's your lawyer, son?" Without missing a beat, the boy replied, "I'll be representing myself, Your Honor." The entire room froze for a moment, and then, laughter. Audible, open laughter. The opposing attorney chuckled as he turned to the prosecutor. "This'll be over in 5 minutes, he said smugly, already imagining the quick win. The judge shook his head, smirking. "This isn't a school project, young man. You're facing serious charges here." Still, the boy showed no fear. He opened the backpack, pulled out a thick folder of documents, and neatly organized them on the table. His calmness was almost unsettling, like he already knew something the rest of them didn't. Then he looked up and said quietly, but firmly, "I understand the seriousness, Your Honor. That's why I'm here, to prove my innocence." The judge blinked. For a split second, something flickered in his expression. Curiosity, maybe. Or doubt. What they didn't know, what none of them could have imagined, was that this teenager wasn't just here to defend himself. He was about to flip the entire case on its head. And leave the courtroom, and everyone in it, completely stunned. The case seemed simple on paper. Jaden Carter, just 14 years old, was accused of hacking into a major tech company's secure systems, causing serious disruptions and data loss. The official charge, unauthorized access to protected software. A federal-level cybercrime. The kind of case that could ruin a person's future before it even started. But Jaden wasn't pleading guilty. He claimed he was innocent. Framed. And he was determined to prove it, without a lawyer. As the trial began, the prosecution painted a damning picture. They showed login timestamps, screenshots, IP logs, and system errors, all allegedly linked to Jaden's school laptop. The lead prosecutor confidently explained how the boy had intentionally bypassed security firewalls to test his skills. To most people in the room, it seemed like a slam dunk. Even Judge Whitaker looked annoyed. "This is a court of law, not a high school debate club," he said with a sigh. "You're in over your head, son." But Jaden stood tall, emotionless, focused. When it was finally his turn to speak, the courtroom expected a nervous, shaky explanation. Maybe even a confession. Instead, Jaden calmly walked to the center of the room, opened his folder, and spoke with the kind of confidence and clarity you'd expect from a defense attorney with 10 years of experience. His voice? Crystal clear. His tone? Calm, but commanding. His words? Straight to the point. In just the first few minutes, he began breaking apart the prosecution's timeline. He pointed out that the reported login attempt happened after his laptop was confiscated at school due to a completely unrelated issue, providing an alibi with official documentation from the school's IT department. He then questioned the accuracy of the IP logs, showing evidence that the same IP had been used by multiple users in the area, including nearby public Wi-Fi networks. The real jaw-dropper came when Jaden quoted a court precedent from a 2008 federal case involving digital misidentification, a case that even the prosecutor hadn't mentioned. Whispers broke out in the courtroom. The judge, now leaning forward, narrowed his eyes. His earlier smirk was gone. Replaced by something rare in his courtroom, curiosity. In just 10 minutes, this kid had dismantled the prosecution's key arguments. And the entire courtroom realized, this wasn't going to be the quick, open-and-shut case they thought it was. The courtroom had gone from amused to astonished. People sat frozen, stunned by what they were witnessing. What started as a routine cybercrime case had transformed into a real-life courtroom drama, led by a teenager in jeans and a t-shirt. The whispers rippled through the rows of benches. Who is this kid? Where did he learn all this? Even the bailiff, who'd been checking his phone earlier, now leaned forward, completely absorbed. Jaden wasn't finished. He tapped his laptop one more time, and the screen displayed a timeline of events, matching logins, and an IP trail leading directly to the real culprit, Tyler Nash, a 19-year-old tech program student with a history of trying to one-up Jaden in coding competitions. Jealousy, Jaden explained, had driven Tyler to sabotage him. The room gasped. But Jaden's calm voice never wavered. Then, as if saving the grand finale for last, Jaden approached the judge's clerk and submitted a folder. Inside this, he said, is a notarized written confession from Mr. Nash, in which he fully admits to the hacking. This was obtained legally, Your Honor, with the assistance of licensed cybersecurity professionals who helped me trace the intrusion. The judge blinked, visibly stunned. He glanced at the prosecutor, who had gone completely silent. No rebuttal. No defense. Just quiet disbelief. You did all this? The judge finally asked, his voice quieter now. Without a legal team? Jaden nodded. I studied case law in my free time. I asked experts online for guidance. I followed legal procedures carefully. I knew I was innocent, and I believed the system would see that, if I showed the truth. The judge slowly took off his glasses and looked at Jaden, not as a defendant, but as something else entirely, an inspiration. This boy, he said, almost in a whisper, is not just defending himself. He's teaching us a lesson in humility, in justice, in belief. The courtroom, still quiet, erupted moments later into respectful applause, not for drama, but for courage. And as Jaden stood there, quietly placing his papers back into his folder, you could see it clearly on every face in that room. They hadn't just witnessed a legal victory. They had witnessed something extraordinary. As the courtroom buzzed with shock and admiration, the truth about Jaden began to unfold. His mother, a single parent, used to be a paralegal before she passed away when Jaden was 10. Since then, Jaden had spent every free moment reading her old law books, watching courtroom videos, and learning everything he could about the justice system. He was a prodigy. A quiet genius hiding in plain sight. But this case wasn't just about clearing his name. It was about proving that no one, no matter their age, race, or background, deserved to be underestimated. The same people who laughed at him earlier were now sitting in silence, some even holding back tears. When the judge finally called for order, he did something rare, something that hadn't happened in that courtroom in years. He stood up. Jaden Carter, he said, I've been a judge for over 30 years, and I have never seen anything like this. Not only are you cleared of all charges, but I'm recommending you for a full scholarship to law school. The entire courtroom rose to their feet, applauding Jaden as he walked out, not as a defendant, but as a symbol of brilliance, courage, and hope.